Yo, we back with another video. It's your boy Cole with
Grammy-nominated Watts, aka Mr. Biggs.
my fault. I was and
Royal Conquesto, aka Mr. Anderson, aka David Ruffin, which probably is not the best nickname to have for this topic, but fuck it, we here.
and we are the devil's advocates. Alright, today we doing something a little different. We're just having a discussion. No video today. We're not reacting.
Yeah, we just, you know what I'm saying?
So
We're gonna get some thoughts off.
Today we're talking about toxic masculinity. We're gonna give some opinions on it. So, toxic masculinity. How y'all feel about it?
It's a double-edged sword with me, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like when you're not overly manly, they're not gonna really find you that attractive. But if you're, you know, not manly enough,
Beta.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You a simp. It's just like you gotta kind of find a balance. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta kind of live within your means when it comes to it. If you're gonna be overly manly, you know, you gotta be a man's man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to fucking fix light fixtures and shit, and you know what I'm saying. But you also gotta be, you know, a hard worker, making your money or whatever. You gotta be able to change tires and shit. Like, I mean, it's nothing wrong with being on some like, yo, I'm a man's man. But if you don't do things that makes it's supposedly that makes a man, then it's just like you just making air, you just talking.
But then there's the toxicity part.
Oh.
What would you consider the toxicity part about it?
So I feel like there is toxic masculinity, but I feel like it's become so trendy to like just throw that term out there
that term is abused.
Any form of masculinity is now deemed as toxic, and it's like any like form of like aggression or like being like pride,
ego.
Like, oh, you're toxic masculinity.
Fragile masculinity.
You're fragile if you don't like certain things, if you don't conform to certain ideas. Now you're fragile. It's like
you just gotta live the way you live, because if you let certain people call it, like you won't have an answer to anything. That's how I personally feel. You got, because if you too soft, women is gonna tell you too soft. You know what I'm saying?
Remember the video we watched that unfortunately we couldn't put out? It was a tweet where some short, she was like, "Oh, you can't go to brunch with you and your mans. If you order appetizers, I'm gonna look at you as gay.
The desserts.
You can't order
desserts as a man.
Sweet.
You can't. What was it? You said you can't order like drinks or like
you can't put like lemon in
your water. You can't get lemon in your water.
You know what I'm saying? When men aren't being men anymore, this and that. This is like, but then when a man comes out of nowhere, he's on some, yo, I'm a man's man. Yo, this is what men do. This is no place for women. This and that. Then it's like, oh, he's too manly. So you kind of just gotta find a balance and live by your own, you know, morals and whatnot. You know, you can't.
That could just be also personality, though. I'm not trying to defend it. I do know there's some things in terms of like misogyny and all that shit. That's the thing, but.
Like when we talk about being a man's man, we're not talking about grabbing women by pussies and shit. We're also talking about
like things that we were taught or you've seen, or even in the movies. This is a man. The man, like he's doing this. He's good with his hands. He's doing this. Blah blah. We're talking about like
gender roles. And I feel like in this day and age, like gender roles are kind of being like pushed out. So like the masculinity that goes with those gender roles are also being pushed out.
Indeed.
And it's a weird dichotomy now, like
because now when you see a man's man, it's like, oh, now he's doing too much. But this used to be the norm. This used to be like what was looked for, what was wanted. But like now it's like, you know, you want to be a little more emotional, a little more in tune with their feelings.
Which is fine. I feel like that's one of the good aspects of like with everything going on now. It's like you should be a little more in tune with your feelings as a man, or like you should get therapy if you're like going through depression or whatever. Like get help. But
it's proper steps, you know what I'm saying?
It's definitely like Watts said, a double-edged sword. Like you can't lean too much on this side and then expect a certain reaction from people. It's like,
and then it's like, okay, this person is cool with this amount, but then this person might not. Maybe they want more, maybe they want less.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a constant like fluctuation. So then it gets to the point of like you try to find like a base for it, and it gets to a point. Some people will probably be like, you know what, no, I'm done with this. Like it's like I'm gonna just try to do what I want, just deal with the people that want to do with me like that. And that's fine.
Honestly, there is no proper etiquette when it comes to this.
Everybody's different.
Like, you know,
Everyone is different.
You can't treat everybody the same. Everybody can't expect you to just be like everybody else either. So
yeah, because you might run into somebody who like the hard masculine shit, then you might run into somebody who don't, you know, because it also comes with trauma too. You know, somebody might not like that, or for the fact that they've dealt with it, you know, on an abusive level,
members or
so they live it. You know, so it's that there's so many things that comes in, you know, when it comes into play when it comes to this. So I understand any side, but also you just gotta find a common ground when it comes to it. You know,
it's a conversation that needs to be had.
Right, and it's not gonna happen overnight. I feel like us as men, we're still developing our masculinity and our manhood. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's different stages in your life you gotta go through to like you learn certain things, you learn how to move with certain people. And it's an ongoing thing. It's not just, it's
tough.
It's difficult.
This is difficult. This is not an easy.
Trying to find that balance.
It's so hard.
Oftentimes you tip over.
Yeah.
I usually tip over to the wrong. To the
either side might be
to the worst. To the worst of sides. Like
everybody want to float on the boat running, but they forget they have a fear drowning. You know, so it's one of them things where it's move on your own, you know, morality, but just be respectful of other people's feelings too. That's, you know, the end game really. That's how I personally.
It's all about respect.
Yeah,
that's all. It's not in terms of like you gotta always please somebody, or you gotta like adhere to like what they want to do or stuff like that. You don't gotta give up who you are, but you can at least respect people's boundaries, what people want. You can respect that. It's up to you to decide if you want to deal with it, and it's up to them to decide if they want to stay if you don't want to deal with it. That's the personal thing y'all gotta handle. But respect is like the main thing. Just like respect the people that you're around. They tell you they don't like something. You could brush it off, but like if you really care about this person, try not to brush it off.
I feel like when it comes to, you know, masculinity and, you know, the views of it, I feel like there's like it's a balance beam between women who want that but don't know that they want it. Because you look at it this way, you see women, they be like, oh, the man is supposed to be the provider,
right?
He's supposed to be the breadwinner, the one that brings all the money in.
Traditional mindset.
You know? But then you talk about how fragile masculinity is a big thing, but low key you're kind of contributing to it because you want to be the stay-at-home mom, you know, while he's being a man's man out, you know, making money, doing this and that. But at the same time, it's like you don't want to deal with what comes with it to an extent. You know what I'm saying? Because you're setting yourself up for some sort of failure because it's like you're just staying at home, not doing anything, not working or nothing like that. You don't have a lot of money to your name. You're putting yourself in a position to deal with toxic masculinity because what if this man...
She's putting him in that like position of power over her.
Yeah, exactly. Like he can be like, get out whenever he wants, and like, you know, at the end of the day, it ain't really much you can say about it because he pays all the bills. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you're gonna be against, you know, fragile masculinity and toxic masculinity and all of that, you gotta take all of it. So that means if you're with somebody, you can't just be on some, yo, I'm gonna just be a housewife and do nothing.
Sometimes they don't think, sometimes they don't view it that way though, because that's just like how they were taught. It's like, okay, this is kind of like how it's supposed to be. So even if people have their own bias, it's like, oh, just you was taught this, but that doesn't mean that's okay. But it's just certain things that's like become innate to them that they don't even view it as like, hey, this is also part of the problem because it's just been something that they've been doing. They've seen done all over.
Indeed.
So what about like the flip side of that coin? Like you're talking about a more traditional woman. What about a more progressive woman who like has modern ideologies and stuff?
I would say that's I would say kind of like our generation, we're kind of on like the cusp of like that switch.
Right.
So like we grew up half of like
seeing the traditional.
Yeah, and then the next half was just like, yo, like
right.
you gotta switch. So it was like it's kind of like a balance. But I would say the traditional, because it is certain things, you know, it's a difference between like men and women. Men have like egos. We kind of live on ego and pride. So at that point, it's like the progressive is a little bit like I think it's more that you have to adjust to in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I found myself, I got to
it's more of a balancing act at that point. Because in the traditional sense, like you're the man, she's the woman, right? But like now it's like, okay, you're still the man, she's still the woman, but there's different roles that you guys are now trying to like juggle and see. Okay, you're good at this, you're good at that. You know, just because it's like technically a man's role or a woman's role, you don't necessarily have to fit into that mold anymore. So I feel like that in itself is a little bit more confusing of like how to be a man in that situation.
Right.
What roles do you take that'll make you feel like a man?
Yes.
It's a balancing act, always.
Well, furthermore, I personally feel like we just gotta live on our own timing, respect each other, love each other, and that's how we progress. That's how we get far. That wraps it up for this discussion for today.
Nice little discussion.
Yeah, something
quick, something like we tested some things out. We got some shit coming for y'all.
We got the podcast pretty soon coming. We don't want to give away too much, but you know, like and subscribe for weekly content.
Every week.
We don't stop. We don't get tired. Well, we shouldn't be tired.
I'm a little tired.
I'm a little tired too.
He's like, oh, I was drawing it off camera, but I'm a little tired. But
you know, we're here for you.
We're here. Y'all want it, we got it.
Yeah. So
let us know how you feel in the comments.
Let us know.
Bye bye.
That was good.
Okay.